Hey board gamers, I'm Steve Nash.
And I'm Felicia Mezzanotte, and here's our review of Runewars. Steve, is that a Pegasus?
No. Alright guys, slap this thing in full screen and settle in. This one is going to be epic. Runewars is a 2 to 4 player game where players will control one of 4 races that come in the box. These races are the elves, the humans, the undead, and the demons. Each player is trying to control 6 areas containing real dragon runes.
Here are the 4 factions that you will be playing as. The elves are of good alignment, and they will start with only 1 tactic card, but 4 influence tokens. In their army, they have archers who can choose which unit to damage instead of the defender choosing. Pegasus riders who can fly over mountains and water and also move in extra space. Sorceresses who can force units to retreat, and warriors who can kill any unit as long as it's already damaged. The humans are of good alignment and start with 2 tactic cards and 3 influence tokens. In their army, they have bowmen who target bigger units, knights who can root a unit and makes you draw a tactic card, footmen who deal 2 damages to units, and a siege tower which gives you +2 strength at the end of the battle. The undead are of evil alignment and start with 3 tactic cards and 2 influence tokens. In their armies they have skeleton archers who can automatically kill a unit, necromancers who can reanimate units and add them to the fight, reanimates who deal 2 wounds as long as you have 2 of them, and the Dark Knight who can root enemy units. The demons are also of evil alignment and start with 4 tactic cards but only 1 influence token. In their armies, they have Flesh Rippers who can gain an extra 2 health in battles, Berserkers who can explode to give an extra damage to a unit, Warlocks who can automatically destroy units, and Chaos Lords who root units or destroy already rooted units. So those are the 4 types of factions you will play as. You will also encounter neutral units on the map. These units that you can try to influence into joining your army, or kill to get them out of your way. These units are the Sorcerers who can have an extra health, Razor Wings which can stun your units, Beastmen which can deal damage and continue fighting, Hellhounds which can deal 2 damage to 2 different units, Dragons which annihilate up to 3 units in one shot, and Giants which can deal more damage the more they are wounded.
Here's how to set up the map at the start of the game. Each player will get 2 random tiles which contain hexes. The starting player places one of those in the middle of the table. The next player must place 1 so that at least 2 of the hexes are touching 2 hexes from another tile. Once each player has placed both tiles, the first player places home realm tokens around the board, making sure that there is at least 4 hexes between them. Now each player removes those tokens and must place their home realm where that token was. Each faction has a home realm tile. The map areas that have a hole in them are filled with mountains. You can place a tile if 2 mountains and water areas are parallel to another mountain or water area. Each hex with a city in it gets a random city token placed on it, and each hex with a monster image on it gets those units on it. Now each player places 1 stronghold in one of their home tiles and gets their starting units. To find out what your starting unit is, check your resources on your faction board. At the start of the game, each resource starts on the red number. To get your starting units, check the units that are on and below that arrow. So for example, the elves will start with 2 warriors, 1 archer, and 1 sorceress. Those units are placed next to the stronghold. Each player now receives 2 real dragon runes and 1 fake dragon rune. They place these face down on their home hexes. You can only have 1 of these in each hex of the map. The point of the game is to control 6 hexes with real dragon runes.
Each player also receives an objective card which, if completed, usually gives you a dragon rune. Both good and evil alignments have their own set of objectives. They also get a starting hero of his faction's alignment and 2 quests for that hero. He will have 3 stats which are Strength, Agility, and Wisdom. You will get 2 quest cards from this hero which he must try to complete during the game. Quest cards have a number and letter at the bottom of them, and this is the hex where the hero must travel to. Once on that hex, he must test the stat written on the card to see if he fails or succeeds. So now each player should have some starting units, a stronghold, and a hero in his home realm. You are now ready to start the game, and yes, setup does take a while.
Let me explain the hexes on the map. Each hex has resources on them. The resources are ore, food, and wood. For each hex you control, you will gain these resources during a harvest. The game is played over a 6-year period and each round is one season. You have spring, summer, fall, and winter. During each season, players must perform one action from the 8 they have. Each player will have a hand of 8 cards which represent actions and initiative. The number at the bottom is the initiative of the cards. When you play an action card, it stays down in front of you. The next action card you play is placed above that one. If the number of the card you are playing is higher than any of the other cards you've played so far this year, you will get the supremacy bonus as well. Here are the action cards you will have. Strategize, which allows you to move units and heroes one space into friendly areas, and if you have supremacy, you will also draw tactic cards. Mobilize allows you to activate an area and move units into it from 2 spaces away. If you have supremacy, you can resolve it a second time. Conquer allows you to activate an area and move units into it from 2 spaces away. If you have supremacy, you can reduce the strength of the opponent's stronghold by 3. Harvest allows you to replace your dials according to the resources you control on the map. So if you control 5 woods, 7 ores, and 6 foods, you can adjust your dials accordingly. If you have supremacy, you can build a development onto your stronghold. These give bonuses and upgrade your stronghold. Recruit gives you units according to one of your resources. These units are placed into your stronghold. If you have a supremacy, you can do this again for another type of resource. Rally support allows you to gain neutral allies, tactic cards, influence, or quest cards from cities you control. The amount of these changes depending on the city tile you control. If you have supremacy, you can hire random heroes by spending up to 3 influences. You can have a maximum of 3 heroes running around doing quests for you. I also want to mention that heroes do not interact with army units. They move freely in the world and only duel other heroes, but they never involved in the wars and do not control hexes. You can acquire power, which gives you influence tokens according to what your resources are displaying on your faction dials. If you have supremacy, you can acquire a title card. There are 3 title cards and you can choose any of them. You can gain these by spending influence and putting those influence tokens on the card. If you want to buy this card off another player, you must spend more influence than there is on that card and place your influence tokens on it. These cards give you bonuses and help you on your mission. The last card of Initiative 8 does not have a supremacy bonus, but you can choose one of the following actions. You can build a stronghold by wasting 1 ore and 1 wood. Or you can repair a stronghold by spending 1 ore. Strongholds can get damaged during a battle. And the last choice is to choose 2 friendly areas and move dragon runes between them. This is good if you found a rune far away and want to replace a fake one you have in your home realm.
So those are the actions. You can only do 1 per season. Let me explain what 1 year would look like. You have 4 decks to represent each season. The game starts in spring. So you flip the spring card and follow the text instructions. Some of these can be influence bid to win stuff, and others are just global events. Next, you do the bottom part of the card. Each season has a special ability and they are always the same. In spring, you regain your activation tokens, pick up your used action cards, and stand up rooted units. Now each player chooses one of their 8 action cards and reveals them simultaneously. Flip over the summer card onto the past season and resolve the text area and then summer's effect, which is to do an action with your hero. A hero can do one of 3 actions. He can heal, move 2 spaces, or train up adding 2 points to his stats. So if your quest will tell you to test your wisdom, it's a good idea to train wisdom. If a hero moves into a hex with another hero, they can duel. Once the heroes are all done, another turn of action cards is played and resolved. Next comes fall. In fall, you reshuffle destiny cards into the deck. These cards are used during battles, diplomacy, tests, etc. Then, each player may choose to draw 1 action card or gain 2 influences. Another round of action cards is played, and then you move on to winter. Flip over the winter card, and in winter the water freezes and players can move armies across them. Also, you must feed your armies. If you have 4 food resources and you have armies of more than 4 units, you must kill off units until your armies only contain 4 units. So make sure to harvest during fall or split up your armies into small groups. Another round of action cards is played and this ends the year. You have only 6 years to try and control 6 dragon ruins.
Now let me explain Destiny cards. These are the cards that determine a lot of what happens in the game. Kind of like what dice would do in most games. These cards have symbols on them. The red one is usually fail, the blue one is usually neutral, and the gold one is usually a success. If you enter an area with neutral units and want to try to convert them into your units, you may try diplomacy. You do this by spending any amount of influence tokens you have. For each influence token you spend, you draw a destiny card. Out of those cards you will only play one. If you play a red symbol, you have to fight. If you play a blue symbol, those units retreat, and if you play a gold symbol, they join your army. You can only have an army of 8 units. If you go over, you must kill off some units. Now these are also used during a hero test. If the quest says to test your wisdom, you draw cards according to your wisdom and play one of them. The symbol on the card you play is what determines if you fail or succeed in your quest. If you succeed, you get a reward or a dragon rune. A reward is usually a weapon, armor, or item. This reward is placed face down on your hero, and is only revealed if you decide to use it, which I thought was really cool.
Destiny cards are also used in battles and duels. Let me show you an example of a battle. The elves decide to attack the undead. Place the battle token on that hex and take all the units involved in the battle of the map. Place these units next to the faction board and place them according to their initiative from 1 to 5. The battle lasts 5 rounds, 1 for each initiative. In round 1, players will draw destiny cards for each unit of one type. So if the elves have 2 archers, they will draw 2 cards, and the undead will draw 4 cards since he has 4 skeleton archers. Each unit has a base shape. The archers have a triangle, so you will only look at the triangle effect of the destiny cards for those units. The golden orb means that you can do the archer's special ability. The flag means that you can rout a unit. A wound and a number means you give that many wounds, and an empty space means you missed. The first cards that are revealed are the special ability cards. Both players reveal these and do the special ability of that unit. Next, you show routes, which allows you to rout an enemy unit, and finally you show wounds, which can kill or injure units. This happens again for initiative 2 units, then 3, 4, and finally 5. Rooted units do not add to the cards you draw. At the end of the battle, you calculate the strength of each army. Each unit is 1. The highest strength wins the battle and the losers must retreat and become rooted. Strongholds, title cards, and tactic cards can increase your strength as well.
In a duel between 2 heroes, you only draw 1 card at a time for 4 rounds. You might be able to use reward cards that you gain when completing a quest. These can really help you in duels. If you kill a hero, you get all his rewards as well. I think we've covered the game pretty damn well, and I hope this gives you an idea of what the game is like. At first, when we opened the box, we thought, this can't be worth that much. But then we noticed that you do get a lot of 3D figurines and nice dials. Then we asked ourselves, are the dials in the mountains a gimmick? Can't they just use a tracker token like in Chaos of the Old World? You'll pay an extra $30 for those gimmicks, but it makes the game look better. And don't give me that BS about paying for the mechanics of the game. Most of the mechanics of this game are taken from other games. Nevertheless, it's a great game and has the elements from other great games all combined into one. You got some Twilight Imperium mechanics, some rune-bound questing, old world dials, random maps, and more. There's also an advanced optional rule which makes questing a little more fun with your hero. Basically, it adds a marker to each hex and a special ability which is activated when a hero lands there. We recommend you play the epic version all the time. Here are some things we found weird about the game. There are typos on the board, in the rulebook, and on the cards. In the rulebook, they called it a dragon tune. I wonder what it sounds like. Some of you might not like the whole questing and heroes part of the game and might just want to play without it altogether. Another thing we noticed is that you only have 6 years and it takes about 3 or 4 years before you'll actually start a battle with another player, especially if you're a defensive player. Also, at the price it's at, they could have given us some extra spare pieces and some separators in the box. We feel like Fantasy Flight games got a little stingy here. It's mostly just cardboard and gimmicks. That said, if you do make some good income and love Risk, Runebound, and Twilight Imperium, you're going to enjoy this game a lot. We loved it. The battle system is great. The seasons are cool. It's a good looking game. Runewars gets a 9 on 10 from me.
Well, I don't really know what to add. You've said everything that we discussed before the review. The production quality is nice, but we've seen games out there with better production value, much cheaper. The artwork is the same from Ruinbound, so they saved a hell of a lot of money there. It's a good game to own, and I'm giving it a 8.5 on 10.